Rennie Stubbs still has a real concern for Coco Gauff at Grand Slams heading into 2026. Coco Gauff might still have something holding her back, despite winning her third WTA 1000 title just last week. Gauff beat Jessica Pegula to win the Wuhan Open, bouncing straight back to form after her heavy defeat to Amanda Anisimova in Beijing. The American did not even drop a set on this run, with Gauff continuing her impressive final record. Although Gauff has reiterated herself as a threat on the WTA Tour, former doubles world number 1 Rennie Stubbs thinks there may still be something that is holding her back. Rennie Stubbs raises her concern about Coco Gauff at Grand Slam tournaments. Gauff's serve is often a big topic of conversation, and it still was far from perfect at the Wuhan Open, where she hit 27 unforced errors in her 5 matches. After watching her lose in the semi-finals of the China Open, Stubbs had questions for Gauff, and she still does not seem convinced by the 2-time Grand Slam champion's recent performances. When speaking on her podcast, Stubbs spoke about the vulnerabilities in Gauff's game and the stress it puts her under, suggesting that it could break down in the latter stages of Grand Slam tournaments. "The thing about winning ugly is that it's so stressful," said Stubbs. "At some point, how much is she going to be able to take of, 'I can't get a serve in the court. I can't hit my forehand. It's not like I'm a bit nervous today.' Jess Pegula's biggest issue is that her racket doesn't feel great, or she can't feel the ball, but she's never like, 'I know I can't hit a serve.' I would hate to walk out on the court and know that there were 2 weaknesses that were so glaring everyone knew about, and as soon as I miss 1 or 2 of them be like, 'Everyone knows I can't hit my forehand in the court.' How many players in the top 10 are going, 'I hope I can hit that shot in the court today'? That is Coco. There were times she was double faulting again. That was in the semis and in the final. But she just keeps going. She is built different. I give her tons of credit. I love her. I don't know if it's the right thing, because at some point again in a big match at the majors, is it going to hurt her though? That she hasn't worked on those things enough. Why is Coco Gauff still able to win with such a high number of double faults? Concerns over Gauff's serve are justified, as she has hit the most double faults on the WTA Tour in 2025 by far. The closest player to Gauff in this statistic is Ekaterina Alexandrova, who has still hit 125 fewer double faults than Gauff this year. While Gauff may be the weakest in this serving statistic compared to her rivals, where she really excels is on her serve. In terms of the percentage of points won on return in 2025, Gauff is leading on the WTA Tour of all players who have played more than 20 matches, and most importantly is ahead of the other players ranked inside the top 5. Gauff finished the season last year in some fashion, winning both the China Open and the WTA Finals. After lifting the Wuhan Open title for the first time, Gauff will be hoping that her serving and forehand issues do not return again and she can retain her WTA Finals crown. Coco Gauff's meteoric rise has been one of tennis's great modern tales. The young prodigy who burst onto the scene at 15, conquered the 2023 US Open at 19, and continues to redefine what's possible for American women's tennis. Yet as she heads toward the 2026 season, with another full slate of Grand Slams looming, not everyone is entirely convinced that her story has reached its smoothest chapter. Among those voicing concern is former doubles world number 1 and seasoned commentator Rennie Stubbs, who has long admired Gauff's talent but remains candid about the obstacles that could still shape, and possibly stall, her Grand Slam evolution. Stubbs, who has coached Serena Williams, worked closely with top-tier players, and watched generations of champions come and go, knows the rhythm of greatness. Her take on Gauff isn't one of skepticism, it's of protective realism. "Coco is a superstar," Stubbs said recently on a tennis broadcast. "She's already accomplished what many dream of. But I still have concerns when it comes to how her game translates over 7 matches at a slam, especially against players who can neutralize her athleticism and expose her forehand under pressure. It's not a criticism, it's a veteran's diagnosis." Stubbs' concern centers around Gauff's consistency in the biggest moments, not her talent or work ethic, which are beyond question. Gauff's 2025 season saw her maintain top 3 ranking form, winning titles in Wuhan, Doha, and Washington. Yet at the majors, inconsistency still flickered. A 4th-round exit at the Australian Open, a quarter-final stumble at Wimbledon, and a tough loss to Iga Swiatek in Paris reminded fans that dominance on the WTA Tour doesn't always translate to dominance at the slams. Stubbs' worry then is not that Gauff can't win more majors, it's that the expectations may be crushing her before she's truly settled into her mature game. "Everyone wants her to be the next Serena," Stubbs has said, but Coco's journey will be different. She's still growing into her body, her shot tolerance, her tactical discipline. These are things you can't rush. Indeed, Goff's evolution mirrors the turbulence of young prodigies who ascend before they're fully formed. Her foot speed and defense are already elite, her serve a developing weapon, her backhand one of the purest in tennis. But what Stubbs points to, the vulnerability of the forehand under elite pressure, remains a storyline that even Goff herself acknowledges. "It's something I've worked on every day," Goff said in Wuhan earlier this fall. "But I'm also trying not to make it the only thing people talk about. My game is bigger than one shot." Still, in Grand Slam tennis, that one shot often becomes the deciding factor. Against the tour's top strikers, Swiatek, Sabalenka, Rybakina, Goff's margin for error shrinks. Stubbs' concern is not about mechanics alone but about momentum management. At a slam, when you're facing big hitters back-to-back, the mental reset between rounds is massive, she noted on ESPN. Coco has the mental strength, but sometimes she gets dragged into her opponent's rhythm instead of imposing her own. It's that tactical tug-of-war that separates the great from the immortal. Goff, still only 22 as the 2026 season dawns, has time and history on her side. Serena Williams didn't win her second major until 2002, 3 years after her first. Justine Henin took years to refine her power game. But for Goff, the microscope is larger, the timeline shorter, and the public's patience thinner. Stubbs fears that the external noise could derail what should be a joyful climb. Every time she loses, people start asking, "What's wrong with Coco?" "Nothing's wrong," Stubbs emphasized. "She's human. She's learning to win the hard way." Yet beneath Stubbs' critique lies a profound respect. Few analysts have championed Goff's maturity and composure as often. Stubbs calls her the best competitor of her generation, a title not given lightly. What she fears most is burnout, not physical but emotional. The relentless expectations from fans, sponsors, and media can drain even the strongest spirits. "Coco has a great team," Stubbs said. "Brad Gilbert, Per Reba, they've done a phenomenal job refining her decision-making and court IQ. But she's still living in the eye of a storm.